Hi, I'm Nick Natarella with AdWise Creative. Did you see video 9? Watch it again. How do you start a podcast on a budget? Oh, good question. And this is actually one of the core elements to this channel to get you up and running your business YouTube channel, your business podcast, and your blog on the cheap. Because we're going to start off very inexpensive, but then you're going to grow from there. So let's get started in the right place without a huge investment. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to start your company podcast with little to no investment. And yes, you might even be able to get it started for free. So let's go. There are several things you're going to need to get your podcast up and running. I'm Nick Natarella with AdWise Creative, and of course, probably one of the first things you're going to need is, hey, a mic. Well, there are a couple of things that go with that. With every microphone, there's going to be a microphone cable and probably a stand of some kind, whether it be a giant stand like you see on stage, or maybe just a simple little tripod that goes on the desk. Whatever it's going to be, it's probably going to have one of those. You don't want to be on a handheld microphone trying to host your podcast. Any number of disasters comes from that, so please get yourself a stand, and you will obviously need a cable. Can you get it started with a phone? Yeah, you could. Audio recording is not the best on smartphones. They're good. The cameras are taking off like crazy, but the audio has a little something to be desired every once in a while, especially when it comes to environmental concerns. Like we always say in the voiceover business, recording is 10% microphone, 90% your environment, your room. What kind of room treatment are you going to have? Where are you going to be? Are you going to be outside? Is there going to be wind? Is there going to be dogs barking? Traffic, airplanes, you name it. There can be any number of distractions, and it's all going to come through in the audio. I can have a dog barking and not even have him on screen, but you're going to hear it. So how is that going to get cleaned up? Well, that comes down to software as well. Software can be a very, very inexpensive investment. Audacity is probably the most popular one out there. People refer to it all the time. There are tons of Apple products. There are tons of PC products that are free. Like I said, Audacity is probably the most popular one. Reaper, I think, is a very popular GarageBand. That one, 9 times out of 10, comes installed on Apple computers. So some of them are already there. Take advantage of them, because the biggest thing, like I always preach, just get started. Don't make the initial investment. That's easy. That's academic. Equipment is equipment. Editing is editing. There is a little bit of a finesse and an art to it, but the main learning, the bulk of your learning is going to be in the actual talking and producing of the episode. If you're not talking, if you're not producing episodes, if you're tripped up in microphones and cables and interfaces and all kinds of tools, you're going nowhere. I want to hear you talk. Let's hear you talking. Then we'll worry about all the other tweaking. And the final one is going to be a little bit of an expense, and that's going to be podcast hosting. Yes, there are some subscriptions that start off for free, but they're not going to hold all of your episodes. A lot of them have a time limit. So once you reach 60 minutes worth of audio, they're going to start cutting back on episodes. Well, if you've got a 35-minute episode, that whole episode goes away, even if you're only 5 minutes over your 60-minute allotment. Do you really want that? No. You want long-term growth and sustainability with your listeners. You want those episodes to stay there. So that's probably going to be an expense up front. And the reason why you want to go with a podcast host as opposed to just putting it on your website, because people who listen to podcasts, they're going to go to those listening sites to find more podcasts. They're not going to start combing the internet for individual websites to find one podcast. That's very inconvenient. You want to do some furniture shopping? Go to a furniture store. Don't go to the cushion store, and then the spring store, and then the armrest store, and try to put it together. That's not how it works. You want to go to the furniture store and you're going to check out a whole bunch of furniture. Some options to consider, depending on who you have on microphone, will you need extra mics? Is it going to be you by yourself, or are you going to have a guest every once in a while that you interview? Or are you going to have a co-host where you two banter back and forth? That's going to be an extra expense. Another microphone, another stand, another cable. And then the interface, make sure the interface can handle 2. A lot of them handle 2 or 4. 1, 2, or 4 are some of the most common ones. You can find others that go more, but after that, you're not talking about a podcast, you're probably talking about some kind of radio show. Another option to consider is room treatment. If you're going to have the luxury of being able to record in the same room, what kind of, and I know you've seen this like on TV and stuff like that, what type of foam treatments are you going to put on the wall? Now, there are mattress pads that look like audio foam. They're not. Okay? When it comes to certain stuff, there's some things that work better than others, and mattress foam is not one of them. If you need to go something generic, I would pick moving blankets over generic mattress foam. Ultimately, my goal and destination would be acoustic foam because it's engineered for certain frequencies and stuff like that. There's a whole science behind it, but the bottom line is don't use something that it's not intended for. Unless, of course, it's a moving blanket. Those are really good. Now, when I say moving blankets, a lot of people are just going to hear the word blanket. Yeah, some of them do work. In fact, one of the better places to record, especially if you're in a solo situation, is do you have a walk-in closet? All of that soft clothing is going to stop the reflecting. And it's a small room. Hopefully it's more rectangle than square. Squares tend to bounce sound all over the place, and it never dies because it hits the same angle and slowly fades out. Whereas one wall that's longer than the other, you got two long ones, two short ones, it hits weird angles and then it dies quickly. But the blankets, to an extent, you want to just cut down on that bouncing is what we're trying to do. One of the best things you can do for yourself is bass traps. That would be something that you would put in the corners, you know, where two walls and the ceiling come together. That corner up in there, that's a notorious place for bass frequencies. That's why they call them bass traps. Bass frequencies to gather in there and just bounce around in that corner, and that's what gives that room that low, boomy, echoey type of thing. But it's the lower frequencies that ends up doing that. I kid you not, of all the studios that I built, the first thing I do is put up the bass traps. As I'm putting them up, the room is changing. Forget the walls. The bass traps change the room the biggest while you're putting them up. The recording interface, that's what's going to take your microphones, bring them together. It's kind of like a mini mixing board, an interface. Bring the microphones together and then go into your computer, probably plug into a USB cable. That can get bigger and bigger, and then you'll end up with a mixing board. That can end up chewing up a little bit of a budget. You could end up with fancier software, higher prices there, one-time payments of hundreds, if not maybe close to $1,000, or a monthly subscription. I used to pay for Adobe Audition at $29.99 a month. Well, you know, if there's a software out there for $300, you know, after 10 months, it's kind of paid for itself versus the subscription. So little stuff like that, you're going to have to make those decisions on. And then, of course, there's podcast hosting. Where are you going to put your podcast episodes? There will probably be a charge for that, anywhere between $15 to $50. And the biggest difference in that price is what ancillary, secondary, or tertiary services come along with that. A lot of them provide an editing software. A few of them provide an editing software that's based on the text. It'll transcribe your words, and then you realize that, and it'll show those on the screen. That's the part I want to cut. You highlight that, hit delete, like doing a word processing document. Boom, it's edited your audio. Those are the ones that are going to cost a little bit more. Now, I do have some other videos that do some deep dives into some of these topics like editing and stuff like that. Check those out. You will see that they will get you up and running with a little specific deep dive. If there's something you want to see, mention it in the comments down below and I'll get you that video too. So that starting budget depends on how much you need and what the high quality you want to use. You could get started as little as $100. If it's just you and a microphone, $100 at sweetwater.com will get you a microphone, a stand, a cable, and get it plugged into your computer. Do you have a panel discussion? Are you going to have you and a co-host and maybe two other guests do a little round robin action, little mixing board, little interface right in the middle with some sound effects and some intro and outro music and all that kind of stuff? 4 microphones, 4 stands, 4 cables, all that equipment for $3,200. That's a little bit of a decision to be made, wouldn't you say? $100, $3,200? What's your format? How are you going to present this? A lot of decisions need to be made up front that will help you dictate what your budget is. And let me just wrap this up by saying all the gear in the world is useless if you don't have the proper foundation to cover what it is your podcast is about. I mainly focus on business podcasts to help your business with growing your client base, bringing in new prospects, using it as a giant lead magnet, however you want to use it, but it's ultimately to bring you clients into your business. All the gear is useless if you don't stick to the topic. If you haven't planned it out properly, decided, I've mentioned this several times, is it you? Is it 2 people? Is it 3 people? 4 people? What are you going to do? How are you going to present this? And then most importantly, the subjects and the topics. That comes directly from your clients. What are they already asking you? You're sitting there at your desk with a client. What questions do they have? You've probably seen a pattern. The company talked to all their salespeople and said, what are the common questions that potential clients have? And all their salespeople wrote their questions down. 80% of the questions across the salespeople were all repeats. Only 20% were different. If you start with those 80% of questions, you've probably got yourself at least a year, if not 2 or 3 years worth of podcast material. That's what people are looking for. Give it to them and they will find you. That's the whole point. Answering the questions that they're already asking so they immediately find you without a problem. That's the beauty of this technique. And the biggest thing that you have to know and have to keep in mind and avoid like the plague, do not turn this into a 15, 30, or 60-minute advertisement for your company. That will be the kiss of death. You won't even get past 5 or 6 subscribers. People will sniff it out immediately. You, instead, go to them, give them what they want, hand it to them without any expectation of return. I'm serious. I think I heard 1 or 2 people just have a heart attack. Seriously, you go in there to make their life better, and they will respond to that. It all is a matter of your heart and where you think your business is coming from. Does it come from here or does it come from here? And if it comes from here, the world's your oyster. Don't worry about it. You got nothing to worry about because you're coming at it from the right direction. But if you come at it like, oh, well, you need to pay me because I'll get that. They'll sniff that out a mile away and you won't ever see anybody. Don't come at it that way. Don't make it an ad for your company. This is you being helpful to them and just giving it to them. The ones you want to work with will come to you. Don't worry about that. Now, one of my favorite things that I like to talk about is how to talk to your audience. There is a specific way to talk to an audience to get them to respond and to really connect with them on your podcast. And I've got that all distilled down to a very simple PDF called Engaging Your Audience: The 3 Secrets to Skyrocket Your Podcast Success. If you look down in the description below, there is a link there. Click on that, drop in your information, and you'll have a free copy in your inbox within minutes. Engaging your audience. Thank you. I'm Nick Natarella. Thanks for watching.